This is Father John's Birthday Bash, December 12, 2005.
Please welcome Father John Sheehan.
A long time ago, and far, far away, there was a make-believe land. It was an island. And everybody was happy on the island. And there were no problems on the island. And the company took care of everybody on the island. This is a fairy tale. The golf carts aren't allowed upon the golf course. We've rules here that no one can explain. No motor cars, no land yachts, and not one horse on Kwajalein. When bugles play, we stop and turn our face here. And dogs can only go out on a leash. 'Cause we're a very military base here. Capiche? Ooh, yo, ooh, yeah. Kwajalein, I know it sounds a bit bizarre, but on Kwajalein, bizarre is what we are. The only form of gambling here is bingo. Bingo. And it's not being done by any church. You go into the yuck, your fingers crossed for luck. You spend your cash in vain, you feel no pain, none Kwajalein. We've television, sometimes radio, and hourglass. And SPIs from people who explain and explain and but rumor is the way we get the news fast on Kwajalein. Kwajalein. No chat rooms here or mobile phone. Kwajalein. Where you can never swim alone, or boat, or dive, or sail. We sit on the lagoon and watch the sunset, and wait for missiles falling with a splash. The beer is always chilled, if gulped, or sipped, or swilled. Forget the world's mad dash, the place to crash. The missile is Kwajalein. Now I know why people wear these things. Welcome to Father John's Birthday Bash. I'm Father John. And tomorrow is my birthday, and since I'm taking tomorrow off, I thought I'd work tonight. Actually, that's not quite true. The real story is, back in May, I called up to reserve this room for the 13th. I figured it's a Tuesday, right? In the middle of the Christmas rush, Tuesday will be good. I'm still wearing this silly hat. Well, I called up and they told me, oh, I'm sorry, it's already booked. In May. So Monday was free. So here we are. Through no fault of my own, when I was a little boy, I had a very pretty soprano voice. And so I started singing when I was wee, child, thing, small person. And one of the places we used to visit, my father was from Schenectady, upstate New York. There's a Carmelite monastery up there. And the Carmelite sisters are cloistered. They go behind a grill and they don't see people. They're not allowed to have face-to-face contact. I mean, they're just locked away for the rest of their lives in prayer and doing other works. But in the Catholic Church, at least in those days, if you were under the age of 7, you had not yet attained the age of reason. So you couldn't commit a sin. So you could go in. So when I was a little kid, I used to go inside the cloister and visit with the nuns. And my mother used to tell the story of sitting outside with my father and hearing her son's beautiful soprano voice singing to the nuns wafting through the grillwork. Now, if this were a Bing Crosby movie, I would have been singing Ave Maria or something pious and edifying, right? But this was the real world of John Sheehan. And here's what I used to love to sing to the Carmelite nuns. How much is that dog in the window? The one with the waggly tail. How much is that doggy in the window? I do hope that doggy's for sale. I must take a trip to California and leave my poor girlfriend alone. If she has a dog, she won't be lonely, and the doggy will have a good home. How much is that doggy in the window? Feel free to sing. The one with the waggly tail. How much is that doggy in the window? I do hope that doggy's for sale. I read in the paper there are robbers with flashlights that shine in the dark. If she has a dog, he will protect her and drive them away with one bark. How much is that doggy in the window? The one with the waggly tail. How much is that doggy in the window? I do hope that doggy's for sale. I don't want a bunny or a kitty, no offense, or a goldfish or a parrot that wants to talk that did something like that. I don't want a bowl of little goldfish. You can't take a goldfish for a walk. How much is that doggy in the window? The one with the waggly tail. How much is that doggy in the window? Big finish. I do hope that doggy's for sale. You did very well, and that portends good for a couple of things I have planned for later tonight. When I was in 3rd grade, I got my first piece of music that was all mine. As a singer, they were trying to teach me piano, and so I had other stuff. But this was sheet music. This was real music. Because I was singing a solo in a 3rd grade pageant. And so I got my own, this was real sheet music. And I learned this song. And I got the measles. So I sang it many, many times since then. Every Thanksgiving, the family would gather, and I would have to sing this song. This is a Thanksgiving song, and it's very serious, but it's pretty. Figure if I can't hear it, they can't hear it. Bless this house, Lord, we pray. Make it safe by night and day. Bless these walls so firm and stout, keeping want and try. These are all pictures of me. All except this one. This is a picture of my father when he was doing radio. I'll move it so you can see it. He was the good-looking one. My father had a number of things that he was very proud of. One was that after the war, when they captured some of Hitler's papers, his name was on a list of people that Hitler wanted to personally see hung from telephone poles when they captured the U.S. He was very proud of that. Another thing he was very proud of was that Frank Sinatra hated him. I only mention it because today was Frank Sinatra's birthday. And I'm convinced when my mother went into labor, my father told her, "Don't you dare." So I was born on the 13th. Yep. You know what this is? Older people might. This is a perambulator blanket. It's what you buy for the baby, and when you take him out to air him, you tuck him in so he will be warm. And that's his monogram. That's me, of course. That's my baby blanket. My sister sent it to me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it, but when I was trying to figure out things to dress up the stage with, I came across that, and there it was. Tomorrow, thank you. Tomorrow is the feast in the Catholic Church of St. Lucy. And I'm surprised that St. Lucy hasn't gotten to be a more popular saint among some of the younger people today, because she's the one who goes around with her eyes on a plate. You know, you get these statues and there's St. Lucy with her eyes on a plate, kind of. I would think this would appeal to the gruesome. A couple of years ago when I was in Lagos, I sang a concert on my birthday at the residence of the Italian ambassador, Father John's birthday bash, the first one. There were 5 people in the audience that night who were celebrating birthdays on the 13th. Is there anybody here who's celebrating a birthday today? Today's the 12th. Yes, anybody celebrating a birthday today? How about tomorrow? Too bad. All right.
Yesterday and the day before.
And one of the people was a little girl, she was about 10, and her mother worked at the embassy. She was Nigerian, but Mama was working at the Italian embassy, and she was so excited to be going out to this big people's concert. She had a beautiful white blouse with silk work in it and a red velvet gown, and her name was Lucy. So of course, on the feast of Santa Lucia, I sang to her.
Prosper
the doctor who did my surgery last week was here, and that's especially comforting. When I graduated from college, I spent a number of years doing professional theater. And one of the things that you have to learn in theater is realism. Everybody wants to be part of the show. I already sang a song for you now. When you are short and wide and you have more curves than straight lines, shut up. Leading men's roles do not come your way terribly often. And at one point in my life, I was up for the lead in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Because he's a kind of a short, little, cute, little, funny guy, and I could do that. And the director was a very good friend of mine. And we had a whole series of auditions, and he called me in, and I could tell from the look on his face this was not going to be good. And he said, well, you know, John, you're the best Finch. That was the character's name for the lead. You're the best Finch, no question about it. You're it. But if I cast you as Finch, I don't have anybody to put as Bud Frump. Frump. What kind of character do you think that's going to be? Yeah. On the other hand, he said, there's another guy who could do Finch okay, and you'd be a wonderful Bud Frump. So I was Bud Frump. I was very funny, but I never got to be Finch. And one of Finch's songs has always been one of my favorites, and it's a song that really has to apply to anybody who works in theater. And Finch sings it to himself, looking in a mirror. Loud. You have the cool, clear eyes of a seeker of wisdom and truth. Yet there's that upturned chin and the grin of impetuous youth. Oh, I believe in you. I believe in you. To feel the sound of good, solid judgment whenever you talk. Yet there's the bold, brave spring of the tiger that quickens your walk. Oh, I believe in you. I believe in you. And when my faith in my fellow man all but falls apart, I but to feel your hand grasping mine, and I take heart to hear the cool, clear sighs of a seeker of wisdom and truth. Then there's that upturned chin and the grin of impetuous youth. Oh, I believe in you. I believe in you. And when my faith in my fellow man all but falls apart, I but to feel your hand grasping mine, and I take heart to see the cool, clear eyes of a seeker of wisdom and truth. Yet there's that slam, bang, tang, reminiscent of gin and vermouth. Oh, I believe in you. I believe in you. Yeah. I was so excited I forgot. One of my personal traditions is I always have a candle on stage when I sing. I forgot to light it. It's like everything up to now doesn't count. You open it. Oh, you done it. Well, that feels better. Tell it's got ends on it. next song, which is about the elephants. Before the show, somebody came up and they had been reading the program. Thank you for that. Always nice to know when people read the program. They said, "What's this about Albert Einstein being your..." It's true. I grew up, I was born in New York City, baptized in St. Patrick's Cathedral, and then we moved to Princeton, New Jersey. And Princeton in those days was a wonderful, little, intimate, friendly, small, great town. And Uncle Albert was always delighted to have kids drop by after school. Now, I lived out in the country, so I didn't get there as often as some of my buddies did, but they took me. And if he was home and there was nothing else going on, Einstein was delighted. He'd play the violin for you sometimes. His housekeeper would make cookies. He'd help you with your homework. But the word got out not to let him help you with your arithmetic because he wasn't very good at math. He'd sort of left math so far behind him. You know, it's like 8 plus 6 is 17. But so yes, Einstein was one of my childhood playmates. Of course, this time of the year we're here celebrating my birthday. Yay! But of course, the elephant in the room is Christmas. Christmas is around us and through us, and what's this? So I'm going to do a Christmas carol, and let's put up the volume on this one a little, because I couldn't hear all of the accompaniment on that one. I dance except for the... Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. All the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to laugh and sing sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bell, jingle, jingle bell, jingle, 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 jingle. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A couple of days ago, I thought I'd take a ride. Soon this thing is right. One seat on my side. A horse was clean and lank. Misfortune seemed his lot. We ran to a big snow bank. Soon we were upside. Oh, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Jingle all one mile. And if you ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle, 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 jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. That's about all the dancing you're going to get out of me tonight. You think this funny walking is an act, don't you? House lights, please. Sun. Not everybody. This is not the Messiah. You got your notes? gentlemen, the casual Christmas choir. I was going to do this. Charlie, can you get me a program, please? No, you're going to need it. You're going to need it. Because this is, you did so well at the beginning, this is the Silent Night Sing-Along. And if you look at all the pages in your program, thank you, sir, this is our house manager, Charlie Miller. If you don't behave, he's under instructions to turn out the lights, and then he goes around and bites your ankles. Toward the end of the program is a page called Silent Night Around the World. And it gives you the words of Silent Night in many different languages. I would say, I play, oh, yeah. That's a big laugh. We're not going to do that. And it has Hawaiian and Latin and Spanish. We're going to sing it in 3 languages. And by we, I mean we. Right? The whole place. So limber up your